trying to condense all the stuff that we talked about last night about how to execute the melody line, playing it out of the chords. So, and the underlying scale. That's the scale. It's actually probably pentatonic. It probably doesn't use it. Probably doesn't have that note. That note. The scale is probably pentatonic. Saying that, not underneath the C chord, but at some point there is a B note in it. And I don't want to turn this into some kind of technical thing, but simply you just, even if you're thinking in terms of a major scale, the simpler you can make your thinking, the better. So now I'm trying to show you within the context. The way we did it last night was we'd got these 4 notes. Open, 2, open, 2 on these 2 strings. So it's easy with diagrams, but there's not going to be a whiteboard here. So inside your C chord, we've got the D string. If the residue of the work that you did last night, you can probably start to hear how those 2 notes relate to the start of the melody. One of the things you can do is practice an action, such by playing the chord tone, taking your fingers off, high, low, and try going high, low, or whatever. Just to get used to the note, what this action generates, what sounds it generates from the guitar, and then same finger. Try it on. You move the finger across the string to here. Same fret, just the next string on. Do the same thing. Or even off, on, off, on, off, on. Doesn't really matter. You've got 2 actions now. Off, on, 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 off, on. That's this hand. Make sure you're picking the things right. And then you can put the 2 actions together to make a 4-note action. Reverse it. Go up and down. All the time leaving the rest of your C chord in, because the C chord, you're preparing your hand for later. I won't even mention what. Yes, I will. The whole point of playing the melodies, you've put the melody out. I'll give you an example just with this little exercise. Instead of going and or, let's go off, on, off. So the different, if you want to make that more interesting, you can bring other notes out of the chord by strumming. You can actually play that line. So from this. All the harmonies taken care of by the chord notes. That's why you have to leave the whole chord shape in. Those just ring in the background while you're moving the contour of the melody, and you get a harmonised melody, as long as you hold the rest of the chords. So even though you practice as a part of the, kind of part of the melody contour, it's the same as going. And you decide just by ear which strings you bring in by the range of you let this hand, the strumming hand. So for going, so again you can see I'm just taking my fingers out of the way. I've got to leave that in. This is the note. then we've got, yeah. So that's actually actionable as the first phrase. There's no point me telling you a tab or a verbal tab, because you should be able to reconstruct that, and if not, I'll sort you out when I see you. So now that gives us brings us to the chord change. So the next part of the melody is over an A major, right? Even though the chord changes, it sounds better as an A7 if you just strum it. When you're playing the melody, we need this note, so we'll fret A major, because we need this string and this note on this string. Yeah. So we've got. I'll do it different to last night, because I'll do it as one with a single note, and then I'll do it with the harmony. Don't worry about notes that don't sound quite right. That's how you can edit those while you strum. Everything can be edited with this hand. The trick with the A chord is we come down the A chord. We don't want this one in. It's too high, because the melody goes to here. Just literally 2 notes, arpeggio notes at the A chord. So you end up with. Yeah? So there's no point bringing this in, because it'll pollute the sound of the melody contour. Just pay note to when that hand changes to A. I'm just picking the right string, the chord. You haven't got to think about fretting the notes of the melody with the left hand, because the chord's done that for you. Just make sure you pick the right string. This one, you have to do a little bit of control with this hand, because you're taking fingers on and off. But when you go to the A, it's just chord tones. So we class that as the first phrase, as a phrase, and as the end of that first phrase. And then so one phrase over the first 2 chords, and then the second phrase over the D minor 7, G7. Okay. So then now to get to D minor 7, you will come out of the A chord, because it goes break. So we go to, well, what we need is a start note, which is this string. So we got to change the melody contour by lifting our finger on and off that chord tone. Yeah. That's all you've got there. When this goes back on, you've got to go to the G chord, the G7, which is a weird one, because this is G7, which somebody might be strumming, else might be strumming, if you're doing it on your own. But it doesn't come in if you're playing the melody. You just reach across to change the root from the D. All we do is play the G root. Now the rest of the strings, except for this A string, but that's damped, are all G notes anyway. But we're using this same note out of the D minor 7. Yeah. Right, and we'll do that in a minute. So if you watch closely, concentrate hard, there's enough repetitions already here to see what strings those should be. There's more than enough there. I don't want this to sound challenging, but like, if you can't follow it to that rate, to this degree, with this number of repetitions, you probably need to do some more simpler exercises to get a little bit more used to identifying notes and strings, which is something I'll do try and incorporate, but I'm not going to make this video last the rest of your life. So we've got this melody. Now, like I say, we'll put the chord tones in to harmonise the melody in a minute. But the weird thing is you've still got to change to G at the right time, because that's got to be ready. We don't want to be thinking about those chord tones when they come in. So, which is out of your D minor 7. So it goes to there like, and you go, even though we're only playing a single note, change to that chord there. So you go. Do it again. So we're ready, because if I strum, that's what it should sound like. So now there's a little descent and then a little turnaround. Jazzers do this a lot. It's called an enclosure. I didn't explain it this way, and I think it would have been a better way to explain it. So I'll just play the melody without moving much, so you can see the pattern. You see it drops below and then comes back to this the open G string. Drops down to that note, which is an E. Jumps back to the G. When you start on one side, instead of going, just going down stepwise. I'll do one finger. Going down to this stepwise, just descending note by note. That's a simple line. But what the jazzers often do is you go down, instead of going straight to the note, they jump past it and then approach it from the opposite direction. And now they call them enclosures, I think. And it's a fairly common thing in all kinds of music, but I thought it's a good. The language they use, I think, explains it quite well. So instead, but what I'm going to do, which I should have done last night, is not do that little enclosure, because it was confusing people. So it'll be like this. It'll be and then to the G. We should have just resolved it to that open G string, just as a descent. I'm using two fingers so you can see the pattern. These have got to be dealt with specific fingers in order to facilitate the G form that we're playing inside. So get used to that, and then it's easy to learn to modify by going enclosure. But if you notice, that's where we always end up. If you focus on that pitch, you'll see. And that's essentially the best I can do for you. It's a lot of puzzle solving, and the whole way of doing this should be, if you're into doing it, is we do a session like last night, or maybe even shorter, really hit you. Then you watch something like this, and then you have a go, and you come back with questions and confusions, because it has to be a two-way. Your actual playing is a feedback process, because what you play goes into your ear, that modifies your singing and then changes your fingering. So we need to do the fingering the sort of a feedback process between me and you, because if that's already probably way too much information I'll just give everything we kind of covered and touched on last night. So now, if I go through the whole thing, go through the whole 4-chord loop line, single melody first, and then the second time round, bringing in just the chord notes that are already under my fingers, and so. I know I'm going to get something wrong. Right. I'll do it a couple of times. to reach there. It's just this. Even if you can't see it with your fingers, use your ear. It'll go da da. Da, 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 just stepwise downwards, all in the down direction. And then you play that basically the same way. You pay attention to the melody, but you allow your hand to bring in other chord tones, and the harmony that's created, you're not creating, it's just coming. And then over repetitions, you can learn to control whether you go. I might just have that as a harmony note, or I might have for my first bit of the melody. And on the end of that one is if that still doesn't make sense, what you should be practicing is up and down scales. Why? Why? Because, well, listen, so on. It's just a simple scale descent to the major scale. Down from here to the G. And so to finish off, kind of reverse information order is the scale is home. Then we have open D. So we have this string word of a open string to upper tone, upper semitone. That's, I'm putting my finger there to show you the open position. Yeah. So we end up with, play the scale as string by string, string word by string word. So single note, string word, single word. Okay. Next string word is the same, but only these two. No semitone. And then the last one, open string, first fret, semitone. So we have this. I wrote it out, and maybe I'll pop that into the WhatsApp notes. But you want to be able to, constructing it from string words isn't the same as playing the scale. But we've done this before. The majority of you have done that scale. Get it upwards and then get it down. And then when you play, whether you play it single notes or you play it in chord, it's just a scale descent. This is partly why you practice scales. There you go.